I just watched Teddy Zane's latest video that he took a $19,000 loss on COSM. Now, first of all, I just want to say I know how it feels to lose money, okay, and it's not a good feeling. It's a frustrating feeling, gets you very angry. So I don't wish Teddy Zane any bad. It's too bad that he took a hit, but I have to say this: it's that it's one thing when you lose your own money. You understand? It's another thing when you lose other people's money. And there's a difference between being a YouTuber and, I hate to say this, but being someone who comes across like an expert. In other words, when you, like, let me put it to you this way: when you're paying someone, you understand? You're paying them because they're an expert. This goes for any, like, field. It's not just stocks. Like, example, if I wanted someone to come, to fix certain items in my house, I'm going to hire a handyman. I'm going to hire someone who has expertise in fixing things. If my toilet is clogged up, I'm going to hire a plumber. Hey, babe. But do you see where I'm, like, going with this? If someone wants to take music lessons, piano lessons, they're probably going to hire me because why? It's years and years and years of experience and expertise. And that's what you're getting paid for. And when people pay you, they expect you to deliver the goods. That's the bottom line. So that's what the problem is. And that's the problem I've always had. And not just Teddy Zane, by the way. John Wick Snippin, anybody who says, pay me $10 a month. We do the homework. We do the DD. We locate the money and we alert you. So the problem with that is that people now say to themselves, this dude is an expert. This dude is a wizard. And then what happens, though, is when you fall short of that expertise, when you fall short of the wizardry or whatever you want to call it, and you're not just losing your money, you're losing other people's money, that becomes something now you could be held accountable for. And that's all I've ever tried to, relate to people like Teddy Zane, people like John Wick Snippin, that when you accept this money, this monthly payment, people are thinking of you as an expert. Now, you could call that whatever you want to call it. You could call it financial advice. You could, whatever you want to call it. You could say it's not financial advice, it's entertainment, but it's not really entertainment because you're getting paid. See, to me, when you're getting paid, it's no longer entertainment. You understand? It's real. That's just the bottom line. Entertainment is when you're doing something, you're not getting paid. And let me just explain to you the difference between getting paid with YouTube ad revenue and getting paid with an individual. There is a difference, okay? YouTube is basically paying you to be an entertainer. They don't really care what you do. To them, as long as people are watching you, as long as people are clicking on your videos and watching you for a decent amount of time, YouTube makes their money from their advertisers. And you're bringing views to your channel, you're bringing advertisers exposure. That's it. That's what they're paying you for. So your service is your ability to get someone to click on your video. But when you're taking money from a person, an individual person, you understand, not a corporation like YouTube, then that individual person is hiring you for your experience and your expertise. And that's why there actually are laws that you have to have certain types of credentials, to be a licensed financial advisor or a licensed financial planner, which Teddy Zane does not have, which John Wick Snippin does not have. They do not have these credentials. Okay? So, listen, the end of the video is this. It's like kind of hiring a plumber who's not a licensed plumber and makes your freaking toilet even more effed up than it was before. Right? Then you're going to go back to the guy and you're going to be like, what did I pay you for, mother effer? To make my damn toilet worse than it was? I wanted you to make it better. I wanted you to fix it. Okay? But then that guy says, well, I'm not really a licensed plumber. Then who the F are you? Who the F are you? That's the question. That's why there are rules. That's why there are law and order. And I just guess what I'm saying to you is this: it's one thing to mess up your own situation, but it's another thing to mess up a tremendous amount of other people's situations. And that's why I try very hard, I don't care what anybody says about me, to make it perfectly, perfectly clear that I am not a financial planner. I try very hard to make this clear. I do not give financial advice, and I am certainly in no way, shape, or form a financial advisor, a planner. I'm not an attorney. I don't give legal advice. I'm just an entertainer. And my videos are only for entertainment purposes only. The problem is a lot of other YouTubers don't make that perfectly clear. I'm not even talking about Teddy Zane. I'm talking about like Lou. He doesn't make that perfectly clear. And I just feel that what's happening with a lot of YouTubers is that people are forgetting that none of them are not licensed financial planners. They're not licensed financial advisors. I mean, I don't know, maybe there might be a few, but if they're not telling you that, then obviously they're not, right? And I just think that you all have to differentiate between an expert and an amateur. And an expert is someone who has the credentials. That's it. Who has the years of experience, who has the license, who has the requirements by law to preach what they're preaching. And anybody else shouldn't be in the ring, in my opinion. They're just an amateur. They shouldn't be boxing. That's just the way I see it. It's subject to my opinion. Look, you could obviously trade for yourself, but where you're asking people to pay you for your expertise and you don't have the qualifications and you don't have the certifications, you're really not, you could argue, you could even say legally in a position. I can't say that because I'm not an attorney and I'm not giving legal advice. That's something you want to consult an attorney about who specializes in securities law. But you could even argue it on a moral level. If someone doesn't have that required license or that required credentials or certifications, you could even argue it on a moral level. Should they be giving you whatever you want to call it? Financial advice, investment advice. I'm just saying, if you're asking me, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. And they're doing it anyway. And, I guess that you have to be willing then to take risks. And the thing is, can you hold them responsible? Maybe. That's why it's a scary thing. That's why me personally, I want nothing to do with collecting money from people in terms of me referring the next winning stock. I want nothing to do with that. Man, the only money I'm accepting is for piano lessons, okay? Which I feel I am an expert on because I've been doing it for 35 years. I've been teaching for a very long time. And entertainment, just if someone gave me a super chat just because they find me funny, they find me entertaining, that's fine. But certainly never for any type of financial or stock advice. But other people are doing it. And I really, really think they need to look themselves in the mirror and say, is collecting $10 a month worth being held accountable potentially for other people's losses? That's the question that they see. But the thing is, they're not really doing that. They're not looking themselves in the mirror. And I don't know what that person is. I don't think it's a good person who does that because, if you want to be responsible for other people's wins, then you also have to be responsible for other people's losses. It can't be a one-sided thing. Teddy, John Wick, Snip, and all these people. It can't be one-sided. It can't be when you win, V for victory, and everybody praises you. You also have to take the responsibility for other people's losses that could have happened because of your, whatever you want to call it, recommendation or your hype. And, Teddy made the video today saying he lost money. I think he should have made a video saying others lost money potentially too. You know what I mean? You can't just include yourself. You got to include other people. That's why Teddy You got to stop this bullshit of taking $10 a month. You got to stop this bullshit because one day, brother, you just may be held accountable. I hope it doesn't happen to you because I think you're a nice guy. I do. I mean, on a personal level, I think Teddy's a nice guy. But I just don't understand. I mean, seems to be a successful guy, seems to have a pretty respectable amount of money. I don't understand why he's putting his ass on the line here for $10 a month. I just don't get it. Because, Teddy, this is not the first, this has happened several times. I've had people email me who said they've lost on several of your plays. And I just think that you're really getting your friggin' buns in the oven, brother. I mean, it's going to get to a point where people are going to flip and they're going to point the finger at you. And you know what, bro? They have every right to because you're asking for $10 a month for your expertise. Now, that's just my opinion. I really don't care if he flips out. I don't care if he gets crazy. I'm just telling you, look, it's one thing to make a YouTube video for entertainment purposes only. It's another thing to charge for expertise. That I feel is wrong. Unless you have the certifications, unless you have the license, unless you have the credentials. This video is not financial advice. I am not a financial planner. This video is not legal advice. I am not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. This video is for entertainment purposes only because that's what I am, an entertainer.